problem that a lot of us have with the referees is it's either very physical and they're calling everything, or they're missing calls.
There's some type of agenda going on with the Indiana Fever coaching staff.
There is a philosophical rift in the team.
She has a long career ahead.
The referees were suspended by the WNBA for repeatedly ignoring Caitlin Clark's foul play, which was the unthinkable. Yes, after months of inaction, fan indignation, and viral video ultimately compelled the league to take action. The same referees who allowed her to be bumped, shoved, and prodded are now quietly being removed from the court. It's also about time.
So there is some more footage that has surfaced of people pretty much trying to dissect this whole push-off situation.
It has been simmering for more than a year, and the WNBA finally took action that no one had anticipated. Referees were suspended following Caitlin Clark's blatantly unsafe treatment and numerous missed calls. This isn't an emotional outburst or overreaction. The league acknowledged it. They claimed that their officials mishandled a game in which Clark was pushed to the ground, jabbed in the eye, and nevertheless still received a technical foul. At last, people are beginning to take notice.
We know that this has been the conversation in regards to Caitlin Clark's style of play for quite some time. A lot of people want to say she is thin that forearm.
Let's face it, though, this wasn't the beginning of one bad game. Since Caitlin Clark first entered the league, this pattern has been evident. Rewind to June 2024. She is pushed to the ground by Kennedy Carter. What do the referees do, too? They refer to it as a common foul. No reprimand, no expulsion, no repercussions, just a pat on the back and continued play. Clark received 5 flagrant fouls in that 1 year alone, 4 of which came from the Chicago Sky. Nevertheless, not a single referee experienced any semblance of discipline. I'm not officiating that way. Targeted indifference is what that is.
A lot has been said in these last 48 hours in regards to the motion offense.
Supporters weren't naive. They witnessed the events. They referred to it as prison ball, a crude, rough style of play that resembled a hazing ritual more than basketball. Nevertheless, the referees just kept their whistles hidden away as if it were league policy, while Clark continued to suit up, drain logo threes, and practically pull the Fever into relevance. Nothing about the WNBA either. There was radio quiet, no public declaration, no censure, only general news releases, a lot of moving on and passive statements like we're reviewing the situation.
The refs did not have control over the players. They did not have control over the game for pretty much the entire game. The game was chippy from the jump.
And then in the third quarter, Sheldon poked her in the eye again. This is something we see all the time. They were on each other. They were talking. It was trashy. The superstar like MJ, unstoppable.
Then the time arrived that caused everything to fall apart. June 17th, 2025. Fever versus Sun of Connecticut. After being poked in the eye and struggling to maintain her equilibrium, Clark is pushed to the ground on camera in high definition from several perspectives, yet she still receives a technical foul. The audience let out a gasp. The analysts were taken aback, and the supporters went completely crazy. The WNBA had to take action because it was so ridiculous. Thus, they did in the end. They verbatim acknowledged that the officials had lost control of the match. The problem is that the game was intermittent. Clark went on. The league remained silent about any real action as the season went on. No pauses, just silence, with no referee accountability. Until a month or so later, when a breakdown by an expert ripped everything apart.
I think this is one of those things where it might be a turning point. And I think this could be a little bit of a weird one.
At that point, a basketball specialist intervened. He went into full forensic detective gear and dissected the tape frame by frame, revealing that Clark was being tripped rather than flopping or pushing off. It was simple. It was clear. And it was deliberately disregarded. Oh, the noise level increased once the video began to circulate. Very loud. The same question began to be asked by spectators, commentators, and even past athletes. Why has the league taken no action?
Saying that there are people at the game, saying there's somebody literally said they were at the game. And again, I'm talking about this as if it is a fact.
The WNBA was now unable to hide. The sound was overwhelming. The receipts were piling up, and the strain was intense. That's when it occurred. The league ultimately took action in silence, without issuing a press release or making a public announcement.
There were people at the game that have told me that this happened and they saw it.
Although sources verified it, references were suspended and not made public or acknowledged in headlines. Not because they wished to shield her, but because the fans, the media, and the entire basketball community left them with no other option. The same officials who were in charge of other Clark controversies benched, reassigned, and removed her from high-profile games. Because it's not simply awful optics when the biggest star in your league is being harassed on national television and you do nothing about it. That poses a risk to the company. And for once, the WNBA understood that it could no longer afford to ignore Caitlin Clark.
There's some type of agenda going on with the Indiana Fever coaching staff. To me, look like they're trying to sabotage Caitlin Clark or maybe mold her into the player that they want her to be.
However, it was no longer just the referees. The experts didn't mince words. They claimed that the coaching staff of the Indiana Fever was attempting to undermine Clark, or worse, to distort her into a less than her true self, all the while promoting the brand and selling jerseys using her name, picture, and likeness. Furthermore, he wasn't the only one who said it.
Yes, you have somebody in Caitlin Clark who became the face of the league the first year that she was in the WNBA. She put up crazy numbers last season, and even in this season, where she has struggled more games than she has balled out, she is still putting up wild numbers.
The WNBA's current face is Caitlin Clark. She is attracting record-breaking viewership, filling arenas, and boosting merchandise sales. However, suspension was only a technical foul away for her. She continued getting in trouble from the referees for defending herself, not because of her attitude.